Okay, round two. Welcome back to Heart and Soul, everyone.
Hi, yes, welcome.
We just did an intro, but then I freaked out that the mic wasn't working. So we're re-recording. Welcome back, Taylor Thomas, to Heart and Soul.
Thank you.
For those of you who don't know, Taylor is my friend and my ex-boyfriend.
Mm-hmm.
We're good now.
Yes.
And the last time he was on, we, I guess, took a deep dive down Taylor's version of 1989.
Oh my gosh, we had so much fun doing it. Or talking about, the sounds of the songs that we already knew and loved.
And we went to that show together. It was like a whole thing,
We did.
like a throwback.
Speaking of, I can't remember what I said on the pod about now that we don't talk.
Why? Did you get feedback from it?
No.
Oh, you just love it?
But I love it.
Yeah, it's so good. It's so good.
It's so good. Anyway, I just had to throw that out there.
Yeah. Thank you for that feedback.
It's like if I said something, unbecoming about that song in the past, I need to set the record straight.
65 of my subscribers are going to go back and listen.
I don't want anybody
and judge you.
Yeah.
But today we're going to obviously go through Tortured Poets Department, which I'm finally saying right.
It's tough. And
I would always say Tortured Poets Society.
I keep doing this thing where I say like TPTD or something. Like I'm not doing the acronym right.
Yeah.
Which doesn't make any sense.
No, I know.
I've started to just say Tortured Poets.
Yeah. It's just so much shorter.
Which is going to come back into my issue with people on the internet about this album.
Oh, I have a lot of issues with the internet, just in general,
Same.
But also about this album. Okay. They're crazy. They're like crazy. Very aggressive. TTPD is kind of what I've been talking about, but she always does one word album. So like she did this to us.
Well, remember when she announced it, she was like, and if you don't like saying that much, you can just call it Tortured or Poets or Department. I think she said that at the Grammys. And
so she knows us.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So we're gonna go through all of our feels, all of our thoughts on Tortured Poets Department, TTPD with TBT.
There we go on HNS.
On HNS. And we have no structure, and we're honestly scared because this is a 31 song album.
Yeah, with the amount of content, we might be done before June gets here.
Before the baby gets here.
Before the baby, right? Sweet little Clarabelle.
Did you see that meme that was like, when people thought she said Clarabelle from the cow from
Disney.
Goofy,
Goofy,
or Disney, whatever.
Yeah.
That all moms everywhere were like, whoa.
Remember when she went viral for dancing all hard at the at Disney World? That character.
Oh, I was like, Taylor?
No. Could you imagine?
I feel like I would have known this.
Could you imagine?
So okay, structure wise, we don't know what we're gonna do, but we kind of know what we're gonna do. Let's start with the night before.
Yeah, so it was a long build-up, right? Like when she announced at the Grammys, and let me set some ground rules here for the listeners. Number one, Kathryn and I are proven Taylor Swift stans.
Swifties.
We love her.
Yeah,
we love her. That does not mean that she can do no wrong in my book,
right? And I also would say we're not the type to like make conspiracy theory videos on Easter eggs on TikTok. Like we're not that psycho.
And I've also gotten to the point in my adult life where I'm not going to fight anybody to try to convince them that she's good. If you don't get it, you don't get it.
You don't get it. That's okay.
And that's fine. And I'm just going to keep it moving.
Right.
So everything that I say is under the assumption that I'm speaking to a group of people who also love and respect her in a way that
right. Or at least love and respect us enough to value our opinion.
Period. So when she announced at the Grammys, she said, my new album, I've been working on it for 2 years. She kept giving us the 2. And she said, it's called The Tortured Poets Department. When I heard that album title, I was like, oh God. Like, it made me feel a little cringy.
Yeah.
But as we got used to it, as we started seeing the visuals,
the visuals are really good.
I'm into it. The visuals are beautiful.
Stunning.
Did you get a vinyl? Are you getting a vinyl?
I haven't gotten one yet, but you know what? I always get the vinyl and I don't even have a record player.
I remember.
Yeah. I just like want to support our girl. Like the billionaire needs my help.
Well, yeah. And she doesn't need me to do this either, but the vinyl is absolutely beautiful. The lyric book has these pictures that I've never seen her look. I mean, she looks beautiful in a lot of ways, but
I think this is the best she's ever looked. Like if we're just like being honest.
So with the name of the album, with the visuals, I was like, okay, I'm getting more comfortable with it. And then by the time it came around, I had butterflies in my stomach.
Oh, I always get so nervous the day before.
Yeah.
The week before.
And I stay up. I like wait until midnight to listen.
I don't.
So Thursday, can I start with the day before?
Yeah, please.
The day before, that Thursday, the internet, Twitter was going crazy with people listening to the leaked album.
Yeah.
And people
that was tough.
People were hating.
Mm-hmm.
They were pulling out lyrics out of context, just like they did with Midnights. You remember when we all heard that the lyric was going to be, sometimes I feel like, everybody is a sexy baby and I'm a monster on a hill. Everyone was like, wait a second.
Yeah.
And then when it can't
be Taylor, but then it makes sense when it comes together.
It's perfect. Yeah. It's a great way to describe that feeling, because I know that feeling. Everyone is like a baby.
Yeah, you're really tall.
Yeah.
You're really, really tall. Big guy.
Anyway, so the internet was going crazy with saying that this was her worst album. She's flopping, yada, yada, yada. And so I was trying to remind myself I didn't like Evermore on my first listen.
Okay. Pause. Taylor texted me the night before the album came out about the leaked lyrics or whatever, and then he was like literally he typed out, I didn't like Evermore at first, and then copied and pasted it like a million times. It's so funny.
I'm here for the drama, just like she is. I need the hyperbole.
And I was like, I need to take tomorrow off.
Yeah.
And I kind of did. I'll tell you more about that later.
Great.
Yeah.
Put that baby. I'm just kidding.
I was like, gonna say. Just left him outside.
Yeah. I was going to say something like that. I was like, I don't know. Anyway, so midnight comes and I'm so excited. And then Fortnite starts playing and I'm like, I'm in it.
Mm-hmm.
And then, but it's that thing of, I've heard people talking about it on the internet. So every time a new song starts, I'm nervous that it's going to be the one that I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah. There is that thing of being a Swiftie where you do get nervous because you're like so protective of her.
Mm-hmm. I think that's what it is.
Listening to the lyrics because you just like want her to like continue to elevate.
Yeah.
You want what's best for her.
I do. I really do.
Yeah.
Okay. So for my day before, I was very nervous, very anxious, and I was trying to like keep myself cool. All of it grows. She's amazing. She's going to do what she does. And I love that. And then when I started listening, I was like, I love it. And then I'm looking over the track list right now for the first 16 songs. And, there were some that didn't really grab me at first, but I was like, overall, pretty solid. I can do it. And it feels like what I would expect Tortured Poets to include.
Yeah.
What was yours?
The night before, I always get nervous as well. Really the week before, like we were on a trip the weekend before and I kept being like so annoying, being like 6 days till TTPD.
Yes.
But I was not going to stay up till midnight because I'm mom and I can't do that anymore. And I'm me. If you know me, I go to bed at like 8:30.
Yeah.
But I woke up and didn't know that there was a double album until like you texted me. So I don't know if you texted me or I texted you, but basically like I woke up at like 6:30 or whatever and I start playing it and I'm playing the like original one.
The white version.
Like the 16 tracks or whatever.
Yep.
And then you had texted me, or I texted you something about maybe the song. Mm-hmm. And you texted me some song. And you texted me back and you were like, and oh my gosh, what double album? And I was like, what is he talking about?
You're like, this man's drunk.
And then
it's 6 a.m.
I know. And then I like looked on Instagram and I saw all these people posting about it. I was like, oh shoot, there's another album.
Yeah.
And that's when I got really scared. Like I was like,
the panic set in
because Fridays are like typically a busy morning of coaching for me. And I was like so pissed that like I wouldn't be able to listen to all the songs before I started coaching and just like, could really feel things. And so I like literally had to wait until when did I text you again? Like 11 to actually listen. And then I was like, I have 31 songs. How am I going to do this when I pick up my kid in an hour?
I just know you were like praying hard before that
I was like session. So stressed. Yeah. And then I picked him up and no, I didn't even pick him up. I texted my mom because she got back in town and I was like, Mom.
Oh yeah.
I'm going to need you to pick Wills up from daycare today and have him nap over there. Cause I was like, surely by nap time I'll be done. I wasn't done. So I didn't go over to pick him up until dinner that night.
Perfect.
I literally didn't see my kid all day because I was like, listening to these albums, and I have to listen over and over and over again and then read the lyrics. There's like a process to it.
Listen, for you to be the best mom, you have to take care of yourself.
I know. I do. And I did.
And you did.
And I did.
Mac's a friend of the pod, right? Obviously.
Yeah, my mom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just gonna out you for having texted me about like Mac's in town. I was like, what are you gonna do? You can't be a mom today. You've got 31 songs.
I know. I was like, don't worry, Mac's in town.
Yeah, Mac's in
town. I said like, I don't know, something about like Wills can wait or something. But he's fine. I have a process, and I don't know if you do too, when I listen to new Taylor albums, because the lyrics are so important that my first round, I listen to it with the lyrics pulled up. Because you don't know the song yet. You're just trying to get to know it.
Right.
And my second round, I listen to it, just listen to it.
Yep.
And then my third round, I have to put headphones in and like leave.
Oh.
And like really feel it. Like go on a walk.
Yeah. My first listen is always headphones in. Like I need it in my skull. I need to hear. I need to hear.
Are you sweating?
It's a little warm.
I'm going to turn the fan on. Keep talking.
Okay. I want to hear like every little thing that her breath does. I want to hear.
The breath mattered
in this album. I don't know if you can hear her, but she said the breaths mattered. Oh, yeah. I don't know how good these microphones are.
The breaths matter.
No shade at the microphones. I just truly don't know.
No, they're really not that great.
Okay.
Oh, it feels so much better.
It's great.
Oh, I was dying. My
Freezing.
upper lip was sweating, and I wasn't sure if it was because I was nervous.
I thought we were in Florida.
I just posted a TikTok to that.
Did you?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Okay, so yeah, that's my process.
Yeah, so I'm headphones in, lyrics up, and I'm starting to wonder if I'm doing myself a disservice doing that the first time, but I need those lyrics.
I need the lyrics really just. To me, she's a songwriter before she's a singer.
Yeah, but she does this thing with some of her songwriting. Like this album really goes back to me. Her writing style goes back to Speak Now, where it's like to an unseasoned listener. this would sound
wordy.
It would sound wordy. It would maybe in some cases sound like very simple. And like when we can get into some specifics, but there are some lines where I think that if somebody took that out of context, such as the Charlie Puth thing,
yes,
and the tattooed golden retriever, which I know it seems cringe,
but it makes sense when you listen to it.
Yeah, and it's coming back to that same like sexy baby monster on a hill thing where it's like she's saying the same feeling in a new way. I don't know. Anyway, so I'm wondering if I'm like putting myself at a disservice, like being too critical at the beginning. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it does. I get it.
Oh, I get it.
No, I get it.
Okay, so when you started listening, what were your first thoughts on Fortnite? Okay, wait on.
Oh,
we were talking about like doing our first initial thoughts of the whole album, and then we could maybe spend a minute
on the ones we hate.
Spending some more like room for improvement.
Sorry, hate's a strong word when it comes to Taylor.
Yeah, it's not hate. So overall, what were your first thoughts?
My first thoughts were like, okay, so I have a hard time with first thoughts with Taylor's albums because I take them so seriously.
I know.
But I would say like first thoughts, I was like, it's catchy. I loved having Post on the first song. Like having a feature on the first song because it just like really brings people in. We obviously know that's going to be her single. I was like, it's a lot less like depressing than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
The first round of listening. I mean, I think as you get into it, you hear way more sad.
Yeah.
But I like that she started off with like Fortnite, Tortured Poets Department, like Down Bad is such a bop. Like ones that like we can like kind of jive to.
Yeah.
And like, feel alive instead of like sad and dead, because my really big fear going into this was that it was going to be too sad,
right?
Because everyone thought, and were we wrong? Boy, were we wrong.
Boy, were
that
we wrong.
It was going to be all about Joe.
Yeah.
And I was like, I just like don't know if my heart can handle that,
because we all believed.
Yeah.
Like when in that era of her life, we were like,
he's the one.
Oh yeah, they're getting married.
Yeah.
Like they are.
And she did too, clearly.
The first time I heard the song Lover, I was like, oh, she is in love.
Yeah. Yeah. And Then honestly, okay, I will say one of my first impressions, and I think I texted you about this too, was that I was disappointed that there were so many songs about Matty Healy.
Yeah.
Now I'm not.
Yeah, no, not at all.
But at first I was like, Matt, why does he get so much time on this album? He was such a blip like in her life. But then after doing some research,
he was not a blip.
He was not a blip. He was a situationship that was 10 years constant.
Yeah. And this one you just reminded me that I need to talk about specific lyrics.
What were your first thoughts listening?
My first thoughts were, I don't know what I feel like I'm listening to a different album than the people who listened to the leaked one. I was like, I don't understand why they're saying it's bad.
Right. I didn't understand the haters.
I truly didn't. But
I think it's right. It's right spot on to what you said. Like they were looking at this lyric about Charlie Puth and they're like, this is stupid.
And I think I'm so thankful for this album because I really feel like all of us OG Taylor fans, and I'll even say I'm not the most OG. Like I really got into it about Red, right? And then it was, I mean, I guess like I knew some, anyway, it doesn't matter. But Speak Now Red era is when I like started getting more involved in.
Because by 1989 you were in.
I was in.
Yeah.
And like, oh yeah, it had to be like Speak Now.
Speak Now or Red for sure.
It was in college.
Speak Now.
I heard some Speak Now songs and I was like, okay, these lyrics are dope. Red happened. I loved All Too Well, obviously. Yeah. And then it kind of went off from there. The manuscript, as we now like to call it.
We do have to talk about that.
Yeah. And so anyway, so all of people who have been around for a long time with her, I feel like we heard this album and we thought this makes total sense to her. All of these songs sound like her. Like this is what I expect from Taylor.
At this point in her life.
At this point in her life.
In her writing career.
This trajectory makes sense to me. Like the progression of albums makes sense to me. I think the people who just recently got into it with like the craze of Cruel Summer, the craze of Eras Tour, they were expecting, just because of what she's been doing and how visible she's been even on TikTok, like we're going to get an album full of Cruel Summers.
Totally. We're going to get another 1989. Yes. We're going to get another Reputation.
And you remember when it was leaked that it was classified as synth pop?
Yeah.
Like people were like, oh my gosh, it just got put in this category, and so
which was
like,
so 1989.
Yes, and so, but I need to look at these people and be like, it's called the Tortured Poets Department. Why she wasn't hiding anything? No, she was not hiding this at all. It's not like she was putting a. What do you do for dogs? You have to give them a pill, like put it in cheese or peanut butter or something.
Put it in like a treat.
Yeah,
hide in a tweet and give it to them. That's how you talk to dogs.
That's right. That's why I have issues. So my first thoughts were, it makes sense to me. I don't understand the haters who listen to a leak. I kept feeling like she was even more leaning into story writing or songwriting about literature the first listen. Like it just kept reminding me of stories that we've all heard forever. And I was kind of like, well, what if this is her just extending this folklore Evermore thing where
like
she's
storytelling,
like
this isn't about my life, right? It's all fictional.
And
which
then
we're starting to realize that maybe those weren't fictional.
Correct. Yeah, correct. And then the more time I spent with it, I was like, no, I do feel like it's very much tied up in her. And then there were.
But I think also we do put like this limitation around her because she is so literal in her songs, or I guess she's not literal in like how she writes, but like she always talks about her life. And the only time we hear about her life is when she writes music. So we just assume every song has this like deep meaning that's directly related to her. Even on this album, I would say like some probably don't. Agreed. Or at least some lyrics, some verses. Like
I feel like the world really tries to, and maybe this is by her own doing in some way, but we really try to put parameters around things that she does. And we say she only writes about herself.
Yeah.
Or she only writes about other people.
Yeah.
Where in reality, I think that all of her songwriting is like an amalgamation of a lot of things.
Okay. English teacher.
Even with these songs, like we're trying to say this one's about Maddie, this one's about Joe, this one's about Jake, whoever. And I don't think that it's ever that isolated.
I don't think it's ever pigeonholed to just one person. Even like there's some lyrics in even Love of My Life and I guess So Long London too, where you're like, this could be about both. Like she could be pulling from like multiple relationships.
Yeah.
Just that feeling of.
Exactly. And that's the thing. She's getting at a feeling and not a feeling from that one man. Not to say that there aren't songs out there that are only about one relationship.
There's clearly some.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. Anyway, so those are my first thoughts. I was like, I'm here for it. I'm excited about it. I did not feel let down by it.
Yeah, me neither.
But I did hear that often, that same thing of like, I was expecting to be more heartbroken.
Yeah. And I love Heartbroken Taylor because maybe just because in the past when she's been heartbroken, I was too. Yeah. And it was like so relatable. Yeah. But I think like we have to remember that she's like grown too. She's 34 years old and she is more of an artist now than she's ever been. And she's also like, she can really kind of do no wrong. Like she can kind of pick her own path. She doesn't have to stay with the status quo of like what a pop star is. And so she's like, I'm going to write how I want to write.
Yeah.
And I like that she like the whole thing wasn't like, I'm going to jab at Joe, you know?
And so that's where I'm thankful that this album is being received the way it is from what I've seen.
Yeah.
I don't know about, I mean, like Pitchfork, other media outlets have given it like, you know, like
keep talking.
Yeah, like a 6.5 or so. Like, you know,
really?
It's not like 10s out of 10s.
Oh,
which is fine. Yeah. I don't need that critical reception for everything because I'm enjoying it. But I'm liking that like maybe we can let this craze kind of die back down a little bit.
Yeah, like I don't think with this album she was doing what she did with her documentary, like in her documentary where she was like, okay, well, we just got to make a better album when she didn't win Album of the Year. I think she was genuinely just like,
this is what I'm feeling.
This is what I want to write it down. I've been writing these songs. I'm going to make it.
And this is how I want to make it.
Yeah.
Like she knew she was going to do 31 songs from the jump.
Yeah.
And so I'm thankful for that. Because I really believe that if we talk to any OG fans, they're like, yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
I'm into it.
Yeah.
So it's like she's coming back to the grassroots, back to the base. All right. Let's get into
what are your skips? Maybe that's how we should word them.
That's a good one. All right. So
not like we hate them, but what are your skips?
So at this point, we're a few days after the release. I've probably listened to all 31 songs. Probably 4, maybe 5 times through at this point, which is unlike us for a release.
It would have been like 100
for sure
if it was just like a regular 15 song album.
For sure. So with that being said, right now, the ones that I'm like not totally vibing with.
We're looking at a computer, by the way. We're not just like sad.
Oh yeah.
We're not tortured poets.
I forgot. Yeah. All right, Fortnite I'm into, Tortured Poets Department into, My Boy into, Down Bad. Down Bad was like the first one I was just like, okay, this is what's going to get people hooked.
Yeah.
It's so like boppy. So Long London, phenomenal to me.
I need to talk about that one. We need a deep dive.
But Daddy I Love Him. That was the first one I had an issue with.
Oh, but I had to grow on Daddy I Love Him.
But the more time that I spend with it, which is shocking to some people, but the more time I spend with it, I'm like, this would kill on country radio.
Oh, it's like it's boppy.
It's so 90s country. Yeah. It's so what's that?
Daddy I love.
What's that song where the girl
Katie?
She talks about having to leave her town to be with this boy.
It's Katie. She's in love with the boy.
Yes, exactly.
Her name's Katie. He's like Tom or something.
Yes,
I don't know.
Exactly that.
Tommy.
Tommy. Yeah, it is Tommy.
It's Tommy.
Man, you're good. Fresh Out the Slammer. When I heard her say that phrase, I was like, oh, but I knew the song title and I love it. Florida.
Fresh Out the Wait, no, I'm thinking of a different one. Keep going.
Florida was a little tough for me at first because this is going to get me some hate. I'm not the biggest Florence fan.
Okay. I'm I guess indifferent. Like I like some of their songs, but I don't like follow them.
Right. So I didn't really know what to expect. I think I was a little biased, but I think it's a good song.
Yeah.
I also didn't like hearing her say Destin for some reason.
Yeah.
That's like that's like one of those things when their lyrics, I'm like, it just takes me a minute. It's just new to my ears.
Yeah. We're like, you know about Destin?
Right.
You're Taylor Swift.
Right. Yeah, you don't need to go there.
Yeah.
Guilty of Sin, loved.
That one I don't love.
It's not my favorite, but I need to look at the lyrics again.
Maybe I'm thinking of a different one, but I don't think I love it. I like it.
Who's Afraid of a Little of Me was into I Can Fix Him, I Really I Can. I was like, this is her Lana moment on this album.
Yeah.
LOML. Woo! We'll come to that one big time.
That one.
I Can Do It With a Broken Heart.
Bop. That is such a bop.
The Smallest Man Who Ever Lived.
Yes. The bridge and Smallest Man Who Ever Lived. That's for me when I'm like, oh, I'm in. At first you're like, okay, it's kind of slow. And then when she
Were you sent by someone? Oh my gosh.
Wanted me. I'm like,
truly levitating. Hold on. Yes. Levitating. That's one of those where I'm like, I don't care who she's talking about. Drag that man.
Yeah.
He's the smallest man who ever
anyone
lived.
Can use that song when they're going through something.
You didn't measure up to any way of measuring a man, wherever she says. We'll pull that up too. The Alchemy, so cute. Clarabow. Clarabow is like I don't
love Clarabow.
Clarabow would probably fall under my skip category right now.
I think of the first 16, I would skip Guilty as Sin and Clarabow. Yeah.
I know. And it's like
that's
out of
pretty
16
good.
songs, that's amazing.
Yeah.
All right. And then we get into, and then of course at 2 a.m., I had to wake back up.
Did you really?
Yeah. And
how did you know to wake back up?
Texts.
They just kept coming in.
Oh yeah.
So did you sleep at all?
My phone was on Do Not Disturb, but the calls, came through.
You got phone calls. Was it like Drew?
It was Drew.
Okay.
Yeah.
Shout out Drew.
Shout out Drew. Big friend of the pod.
Friend of the pod. And big fan of Taylor.
That's right. So she was like, "It's a double album." She did it, and I was like, gotta get up. Gotta wake up. The Black Dog.
Okay. I love the Black Dog.
So the second half has my I don't know if they are officially my favorite, but some of my favorite songs from the whole album and some of my least.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I totally agree.
So Black Dog and I'm Gonna Get You Back and Albatross was like my first listen was like a little iffy.
Yeah, same.
And it's growing on me. Chloe or Sam or Sophia or Marcus also. My first listen, I didn't really think much about. Every time I listen to it, it is phenomenal.
It gets better. It gets better every time.
It's incredible.
I agree.
How Did It End was an immediate like for me. So
I love How Did It End.
Same. We got to talk about that. Yeah. So High School, incredible.
So High School. It's so High School brings you back to like early 2000s rom-coms, like
exactly
10 Things I Hate About You.
It would fit on any of those.
She's All That
soundtracks.
Yes.
100%.
I love So High School.
It's so good. Okay, and then we got into I Hate It Here, which
I don't like that one.
Did not like.
Yeah, that's a skip.
Thank You, Amy, which I also did not like, and I still haven't grown on me.
It, but I don't like stan it like the internet is, because that's like probably getting the most press because of Kim, and we'll get into that.
And I don't think it's Kim. Anyway,
you don't think it's Kim?
I don't think she would do that.
She literally capitalized her letters in her name.
I know, I just don't believe it. I don't think
she's like, I literally spelled it out for you.
I know. And she when Taylor listens to this podcast, she's gonna be, he's an idiot.
When she does,
yeah. But I just feel like she wouldn't end a song if like only you and I would know that the song's about you and make it that obvious in your in the track title.
But do you think that's kind of the irony of it?
I guess. I don't know. Well
I don't like I look in people's windows.
I don't either. So those are my three immediate skips.
Okay.
Tracks 23, 24, and 25, which I cannot believe I'm saying. Also, The Prophecy was a little too cheesy for me until last night when I was listening, and my English teacher brain, I used to be a high school English teacher, and my brain finally woke up and remembered that Cassandra was given this gift by the gods to be able to see the future.
I had to Google that.
Oh, okay. Perfect.
Because I totally did not know who Cassandra was.
Okay, great. And then they did kill her ass first. Sorry for the A word. And she had the prophecy, right?
I didn't realize that was. Oh, okay.
I'm thinking
that's smart.
Yeah.
I just thought the prophecy was like really relatable to someone who's like, I'll relate it to me.
Someone I know a little bit about.
Like me. Like a girl who's just like waiting for her person, and like she keeps meeting all these guys, no offense, and like dating them, and they just never love her enough. And she's like, am I just gonna be like, she's just waiting for someone to be like, ugh.
Yeah.
I could relate to that.
Yeah, for sure.
And then
I think that's a great feeling.
Yeah.
I just haven't spent enough time with the song to like really hook me. Peter was another. It's now we're getting into the realm of like on my first listen, I was also very tired.
So tired. I mean,
Like
you were up all night.
We're like at 3:20.
You had listened to the entire album before I even got out of my REM.
Yeah. So now it's like 3 a.m, and I'm like, okay.
Did you go?
I think I just need to go to sleep. Yeah. I went to work. And so my first listen to Peter, I was like, this is fine. And now I think it's beautiful. The Bolter, I think, is great. Robin.
I don't like Robin.
Okay, but it's about kids, about a little boy.
Oh, it is?
I think.
I maybe need to re-listen to it. It's just like one of those that comes on and I skip because I don't like the sound of it as much.
Listen, but Soul Sisters, you're about to see this girl cry on YouTube.
It's about like children.
Robin is the name of Aaron Dessner's son.
Oh,
and he said the lyrics are bad. Long may you reign, you're an animal, you're bloodthirsty, out window panes, talking utter nonsense, you have no idea. Strings tied to levers, slow down clocks tethered, all this showmanship to keep it for you in sweetness. Like we're trying to keep you in this like sweet little moment of your life. Like you're an animal going out these windows, like just playing around. She's, way to go, tiger, higher and higher, wilder and lighter for you. Long may you roar at your dinosaurs. You're just a ruler. You're a just ruler covered in mud. You look ridiculous and you have no idea. And it's just like,
that is sweet. The lyrics are sweet. Maybe I need to stop skipping it.
The secret we all vowed to keep it from you in sweetness. Like we're just trying to, I take it as
preserve your innocence and like
preserving your innocence. You got the dragonflies above your bed. You have a favorite spot on the swing set.
This is really sweet knowing his kid's name is Robin too.
You have no room in your dreams for regrets. Oh my gosh.
It's true though.
How sweet is that? All right, we'll come back to that.
I wonder if Will's regrets like punching me though when I'm trying to change his diaper sometimes.
Well, one day he will.
Yeah.
And you're now you're not singing Never Grow Up. You're like grow up.
Grow up. Grow up. Yeah. No, I like those lyrics.
And then the manuscript, which we know is her revisiting
All Too Well.
All Too Well, yeah.
Okay, let's get deep.
Let's do it.
Unless there's something.
So we've established that those 23, 24, 25 were my skips.
We're not going to talk about them.
26.
Or like, I don't think we need to talk about.
There are some that I could talk about for sure. Okay,
Fortnite.
Where do you want to start?
Fortnite? I mean, should we just start at the top?
Start at the top.
Okay, and we don't have to go super deep into all of them. Like Fortnite is about Maddie Healy, correct? Or
I would assume so.
I would also maybe assume that Fortnite could be about just like people who got away in general and like her just dreading or I guess believing that they're all going to end up better because they got rid of her and she's going to end up worse.
Oh my God, that's great.
Because like the whole line about, like your wife's like watering the garden and I want to kill her. And then my husband's cheating on me. Yeah. Like you have this like picture perfect life and we're neighbors and like, I'm supposed to be cordial around you. And I am because I'm happy for you.
It feels make believey, but it's also her exploring this idea of like, we're not supposed to be together, but we've tasted it.
Yeah.
And it's driving me crazy.
Yeah.
I love you. It's ruining my life.
Yeah. I love how she sings that.
I know.
And Post. Okay. So I always get really upset with Taylor because again, she's not perfect, but I get upset with her when she has collabs and like, she doesn't give them enough time on the song to like really like show their talent. Like when Lana Del Rey was like literally in the background of Snow on the Beach.
She corrected it. We bullied her.
She did correct it. She did. But I feel like Post.
I thought he was going to do more.
And I wanted him to because like him on Beyonce's album, so good.
Yeah.
Levi Jeans.
He's having a big year.
He's so talented. Like I really do think he's one of the better artists right now. But him and her in that music video, like that chemistry was so fire.
How cute.
So cute. And I saw a bunch of memes on this, but like when they like stripped him of his tattoos in the music video, I was like, he's kind of hot.
You're like, okay, I'm
like
in love with
never thought Post was like attractive because I couldn't see him. TBH, like so many tattoos.
Yeah.
But like I was like, the way he was holding her and she was like crunching her nose.
He's got that thing.
He's got something. And they have chemistry.
They do.
And I love that. That's why I wish he was more of the song.
He's so likable. His energy is like so infectious.
And the music video, when you sent me that photo of like how it compares to Maddie Healy's music video.
Whoa.
She was not being subtle.
No.
And I would have never known that because I'm not a huge 1975 fan. Like there's some songs I like, but I don't know them.
I wouldn't be able to rattle off a bunch.
Me neither.
Yeah, same. But I like their vibe. I like the stuff that I hear.
Yeah. But when you sent me that picture, it was like side by sides of her music video, images from her video and images from his. And they were like,
even to the point where it's like a straight on shot, like symmetrically in frame, and he's got a crown on, and like her little prods thing in the
when
hospital
she's like in
on top of her
insane asylum or whatever.
Yeah, it's like the exact same shape following that crown.
The black dog. How they're laying down on the ground.
It's incredible.
Even the outfits. Yeah. I'm like, it's black and white.
It's all black and white. Yeah.
Like, I wonder if she can get like
sued
for plagiarism, but I'm sure she like knows how to get around that.
And for a fortnight there, we were forever. Yeah. Love it.
Which a lot of people are taking literally as like it had to have been 2 weeks. It was probably about Maddie, like that 2 weeks that they dated or whatever. But I think it's like more so when you look back on a relationship in the grand scheme of your life, like 2 years could feel like just a fortnight.
Yeah. One of my favorite lyrics from the song is when she says, run into you sometimes. Oh no, it's about the move on drug. Oh yeah. All my mornings are Mondays, stuck in an endless February. I took the miracle move on drug. The effects were temporary. Yeah. And this miracle move on drug, to me, it feels like another, I don't know, another quick fling, like something to just get her over this other person. Yeah. You know what I mean? And so in that sense,
it could be about Joe.
Yeah, it could be anything. But
that's why I think it's just like about lovers in general. Like just looking at your past and like hoping that your future, you're not miserable and they're happy. You know?
Yeah.
Okay. Tortured Poets Department. That's about Maddie Healy. She like really makes it clear.
Yeah, she does.
I mean, the Tortured Poets Department, what's ironic is like, or not ironic, I guess interesting is that everyone thought that those words would be about Joe because of his like group text name or whatever, like man's tortured
whatever it was. I can't remember what it was called anymore.
But we're starting to learn that Maddie Healy was the typewriter guy.
Well, you know that there are people saying that like this goes way back and that Styles about Maddie.
Yeah. Styles about Styles.
It has to be. But it's just, it's just like people construct what they want to believe.
But that was the era when they were like, she was in love with him. And we did not know until this album.
I know.
We thought it was like such a just like whatever fling.
Yeah.
And we were honestly like Taylor.
And she wore, Drew was telling me that she wore a shirt that said the 1975.
Yeah.
Around 1989.
Yeah.
Release.
It was in 2014.
Yeah.
And then he also like, maybe he wore a 1989 shirt on his tour.
That's what it was.
And she wore the 1975 tucked into the plaid skirt.
And so it makes you think, like, has it always been this will they, won't they?
I mean, I've had a person, I mean, this was like in high school, but like where you're like, oh, is this the one that got away? Right. And like you kind of revisit them in between relationships. Like maybe not even like in a direct way, but you just think about them. You're like,
of course.
I wonder.
It's just that thing that lingers. And as she said in the writings around this album, like once you share the saddest story is when you can move on.
Yeah.
And so maybe it truly is like, it was this like torrid love affair for decades. And now that she's with Travis, which again, maybe this could all be fake too. I don't think it is. I don't think it is at all. But it's just like, now she's like, okay, I'm ready to be done with this.
Yeah. Well, let
me just get this out.
And I think there's like a lot of her saying, I had to learn for myself by doing this, by getting back into it and like going full throttle.
For sure.
And then even though it ended in really quickly and he's kind of like just wrong for everyone.
Yeah.
Like I needed to do that because of these 10 years of feelings.
Yes. But I've, but you awaken with dread, pounding nails in your head. But I've read this one where you've come undone. I chose this cyclone with you.
Yeah.
And so there's a few times throughout the album where she talks about like, you're sending me these red flags. That the one where it starts, oh, here we go again.
Yeah.
The voices in his head.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like she's seeing all these things that this man is like tortured by. But she's still choosing to get into it, which I think is very telling.
I think Taylor's kind of tortured too. I mean, listen to her writing.
Mm-hmm. She's choosing to get into
She's in the department.
She is.
She's in it.
Yeah, she's
not the king or the queen, but she's in it.
What did you think about the rings? At dinner, you take my ring off my middle finger and put it on the one people put wedding rings on. And that's the closest I've ever come to my heart exploding.
Yeah, I know. She mentions like rings and like could have been, would have been weddings a lot throughout this album, or a few times throughout this album. Mm-hmm. And like, that's one of those things where I just think if it's about Maddie, he probably in like some flippant moment was like, "You're the love of my life." And like,
I'll kill myself if you don't stay with me.
Promised her all these like, I don't know, niceties. And then maybe that was one of them.
Because especially like you're talking about when we've had these experiences of like on again, off again, this person that just kind of lingers in the periphery. There's
no like closure.
If they came to you and said, "I'm different now. This is it.
I've been pining for you. I've been thinking about you for 10 years.
You were the love of my life."
I'm like, okay.
This is the time.
Yeah.
You're like, yeah,
I'm in. Go. Let's do it. Let's try it. And that's exactly what she did. She's like, I had to try.
And in that sense, all of this makes sense. I mean, yeah.
Especially coming out of like a 6-year relationship where you thought you were going to marry him. And then to come out and have this guy who's been waiting for you for 10 years and says he's changed for you. You're like, maybe that's what it was all for. Like, he's my person.
Exactly.
Like, maybe that's why me and Joe didn't work out.
That's the reason this didn't work out.
And that's the denial part.
Yes.
Where she's like holding on to that like little possible love affair that could be the one when really like neither of them are.
Yes. Oh. The song I was referencing was the next song. Guilty. My boy only breaks his favorite toys, which I love. Oh, here we go again. The voices in his head called the rain to end our days of wild. Wild. But you should have seen him when he first got me. She talks about that again. She's like, tell me about the time you first saw me.
Yeah. Later he's in the all album. In the beginning.
Yep. I'm the queen of sandcastles he's destroyed. She talks a lot about ruling over this kingdom. She does it in The Alchemy as well.
This breakable kingdom.
Like yes, it's all fickle. Yeah.
Yeah.
Love the fact that it's like this whole thing fell apart. He destroyed this because it was too perfect.
Yeah, that's true. It was too good.
Listen.
But that's like kind of relatable for you. You do that.
Okay.
Don't you? You admitted that on the last podcast.
I do. And it's been a thing that I've worked on for a lot of my life.
Yeah.
Where, I get scared and I run.
Yeah, self-sabotage.
I sure do. Yeah. And so it's like, maybe I'm mad. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not Maddie, but
you're not Maddie, no. But you might be Taylor the Bolter.
Truly.
Yeah.
Okay, she comes back to that same idea at the end of it where she says, just say when I'd play again. He was my best friend down at the Sandlot. I felt more when we played pretend than with all the Kens.
That was because
he took me out of my box, stole my tortured heart, left all these broken parts, told me I'm better off without him.
But I'm not.
What I'm assuming, but I'm not.
That's a good line because she's like been with all these like guys who are seemingly Kens.
Yeah.
And he's not.
Yeah.
He's not at all. Not.
No.
That's obviously about Maddie too. I would assume.
I wish in our perfect world we could separate like all those really terrible things that he's done and said publicly just out of his persona together. Because it's
I
like
wish we knew who he was when he was with her.
Yeah. I really don't like even the thought of
her liking him.
Yeah.
It makes me sick. Based off what we know about him publicly. But
you know what she says? She says, I'd rather burn my whole life down.
It's my name to ruin. It's my name to ruin, not yours.
Spend one more minute listening to this
complaint. I think, okay, are we doing But Daddy, I Love Him? Oh, no, so long. Listen, oh, my God, we have so much.
I'll go anywhere you want. I did want to say that with the Tortured Poets Department song, so she cusses a lot in this album.
She does.
Like most of the songs are explicit.
Yeah.
Tortured Poet, and there's some moments where I'm like, I don't think you needed that there.
When she says no effing body.
I liked that one. Though.
Yeah.
I like that one. There's some other songs later where I'm just like, I think we could have like done anything. We didn't have to.
Yeah, we didn't have to do that.
But anyway.
There's like a meme or like a image going around of like all of her albums in order with like a graph of like the explicit words. And like from Midnights to Tortured Poets. It's like, because she did a lot of cussing in Midnights, but it went like double. Like it doubled.
Yeah.
Okay, Down Bad I think we can just say is like a bop.
It's a bop.
Like,
now I'm down bad crying at the gym. Today was the first time I was like really listening to the lyrics at work, and I love this analogy of him
the
being
alien.
an alien.
Yeah.
I didn't really like hear it the first time.
How he's like abducted her and taken her to this land that she ended up loving, and then he just drops her back off.
And that dreamy, breathy voice that she's doing, did you really beam me up?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just like,
did you really beam me? Oh, shit.
Nailed it.
Oh, I'm not a singer, but I'm a listener.
Taylor's team, when you need a backup singer.
Yeah. I'll do the harmonies.
Yeah.
Guilty of Sin.
Dope.
Wait, what's next? You keep pulling up Guilty of Sin. It keeps tripping me up.
Oh. Oops.
So Long London. Okay, this we need to talk about.
We got to.
The beginning of So Long London, when she does a callback to Call It What You Want right after the so long, like the chorus or the choir. Have you heard this?
No.
Oh my God, you have to play it.
Do you Call It What You Want first?
No. Well, you can, yeah.
Well, I know the chord. I know the.
You know the beginning of Call. Yeah. So right after that, it goes into the very beginning of how Call It What You Want sounds, and then it shifts. I guess you know, like the.
Oh my gosh!
That part.
Yes.
Play just the beginning. It's like my guys will grumbled overnight. Yeah, that synth part.
Yes.
So this is obviously about Joe. Like, this is Joe. She's like making it clear, Joe. And London has always kind of been this like picture of Joe, like London boy, like that town she fell in love with because of him. So I need to look at the lyrics because I feel things when I listen to this. Okay. There's just so much. Obviously her whole thing with Joe that she's trying to make clear is like, I was all in and he was in the beginning and then just slowly started pushing me out. Like I love in here when she talks about like this. Is this the one where she talks about the cemetery?
Yes.
Like we were like dancing at the cemetery. Like we were going to die.
It was.
And I was like trying to hold on to life.
Yeah.
And
I also want to say this was the first moment in the album where I was like, oh, this sounds like poetry. Yeah. It sounds like she's like it's so cheesy, but it sounds like she's like at a poetry slam. And she's like, I saw in my mind fairy tales through the mist. It's kind of like just talky.
Yeah.
And so I really loved that moment.
But pulled him in tighter each time he was drifting away because he was always like drifting away, apparently.
Yeah. How much sad did you think I had in me?
And that's a callback to when, is it Folklore? It's Peace. It's in the like song Peace, like sad songs. Like that was their thing.
Have you seen, now I'm pointing to the lyrics where just in the next verse, she says, I stopped CPR after all it's no use.
That's losing me.
Losing me. Yeah.
Because like the heartbeat and all that.
And then on the track.
I love this song. There's so many.
And then
callbacks.
On the track list. Oh, see, people on the internet lie. They were trying to say that it was Cassandra, Peter, then Robin in the order, which would be CPR.
All right. That's a stretch.
I think this song is so.
It is like a movie.
Good.
I'm pissed off. You let me give you all that youth for free. That I felt. I was like, oh my gosh, when you feel like you wasted so much of like your prime years.
Yeah.
And then you're like, I'm back at square one.
All right, I'll just see myself.
Yeah. I'm like 25 to 27. That would have been nice to get back.
Okay, all right. That's a bit. 2 graves, 1 gun. I'll find someone. Yeah.
Okay.
But she also does say the cemetery or grave.
The bridge. And you say I abandoned the ship. So I'm assuming she ended it. Mm-hmm. Like he gave her so many reasons to end it. And she was like, I'm just leaving. Like I'm done. But I was going down with it. Like we were done regardless. My white knuckling dying grip. Oh,
holding tight to your quiet resentment.
Quiet resentment is probably the worst you can put someone through. The worst thing you can put someone through. And
the slowest way is never loving them enough. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. And my friend said it isn't right to be scared. So her friends were obviously like, get out for years.
This
it
isn't
seems
good.
like
Every day of a
love affair. Every breath feels like rarest air when you're not sure if he wants to be there. Oh my gosh. Like, I just cannot.
It's crazy.
Oh, and this.
Yeah.
I died on the altar waiting for proof.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, like she just really wanted to marry him.
You're telling me that you love me.
Well, I mean, LOML. He's telling her that she's the love of his life as well.
You sacrifice. What do you think that means? You sacrificed us to the gods. Oh, to the gods of your bluest days.
Yeah. Like, it seems as if Joe had some like torturedness in him. Like, he is a sad boy.
This song is incredible.
It's so good. The lyrics are so good.
This whole verse, you swore that you loved me, but where were the clues? I died on the altar waiting for the proof. You sacrificed us to the gods of your bluest days. And I'm just getting color back into my face. I'm just mad as hell because I've loved this place.
And then how she goes into
for
London,
so long.
Because she talks about she loves London. Like, this was becoming my home. And like everything Stitches that I imagined undone, is gone.
2 graves, 1 gun.
2 graves, 1 gun.
Oof.
Wait, maybe this isn't the one where they're dancing at the cemetery. Maybe that's Love of My Life.
And there's like the wave building up over the grave, and that
it's just so good. I would say that's one of the top 5 songs of the album.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. But Daddy, I Love Him, we've kind of talked about it again. I think it's
towards the fans.
I think. Oh my, yeah. Let me pull it up. So
like everyone's like, oh my gosh, it's all about Maddie Healy. I think it's about everyone she's ever dated and how the fans just pick apart everything.
Yeah,
and like won't let her live her life.
I haven't explored it well, like with like attuned ears, but I did have this thought when I was driving to DC last weekend and listening to this kind of that each verse could be a different
boyfriend
love.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Where it's like, here I am with this person, but I'm in this setting where she's doing like this church illusion.
That could be John Mayer. She uses a lot of church with him.
Yeah. Oh, that's illusions.
True. Like would have, could have, should have, whatever.
Would have, could have, should have.
It's hard to say.
And then in the second verse, she's talking again about like, these people still are telling me not to date this person. And then the last one, it's finally like, oh no, I'm going to be with them.
Yeah.
And I'm not listening to you guys anymore.
Yeah. Like, you're the haters. You need to calm down. Daddy is the fans.
Yeah. Daddy's the fans.
Daddy's the fans.
The fans, we're daddy.
We're daddy.
Yeah.
Call me daddy.
That's gonna be the the TikTok
the title.
The fans, we're daddy.
We're daddy. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay, let me get back in here.
God save the most judgmental creeps. I mean, that she's talking to us.
She's talking.
And we're sorry.
Yeah, we're sorry. We didn't mean to do you like that.
Fresh Out the Slammer is, I believe, about her getting out of her relationship with Joe and running straight into like mayhem, i.e. tour, and Maddie Healy.
Can we talk about the devastation you would feel if you were with someone for 6 years and then after you broke up, they just referred to your relationship as the Slammer?
I didn't even think about that.
Right?
Yeah. That's a blow in
like,
itself. And I do feel like for the most part, she was very respectful of Joe in this album.
Mm-hmm.
Like she spoke of him as if like she spoke of him through the lens of like our relationship meant so much to me. And that's why it hurt so bad.
And it just didn't work.
Where with Maddie, she's like, you're the smallest man who ever lived. You're Jehovah's Witness suit. You're drunk. You're doing drugs. You're buying drugs from friends of mine.
All like, the drug use in this album.
I mean, look at him. He's like always high and drunk. He like throws wine bottles at his fans and during, I can't talk. At his things. He's doing things.
At his things. He does the things.
Okay, yeah. Florida, I don't really have a lot to say on it.
I don't either. I was pulling up the lyrics to see if there's anything that like really stood out. I heard maybe you saw the TikTok too, where the guy recorded what she said on like Sirius radio, maybe.
Yeah.
They were doing like a debut of the album and she's introducing some of the songs.
Yeah.
And she's like, it was kind of like, when you're trying to escape, like where do people run off to?
Yeah.
Florida.
Yeah. Like a quick and easy vacation.
Yeah.
And I went to the Florida show, so that's what I made my TikTok
to. Yeah. I forgot that.
And before the album came out and we like heard the words, everyone thought that was going to be about Tampa because that was when it was released that they broke up.
Yeah.
Was that weekend. And we all thought we were getting something.
Was that when she switched it from the one to or no, from Invisible String to the one?
Yeah. And it was April 13th. It was the 13th, and I was just like, we're gonna
Too
get
much.
more, and we didn't get enough. I feel like.
Have you been talking with the group that you went to about
Yeah.
like? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm in text.
Okay, you text.
Yeah, I text.
Florida, it's here.
It's good. It's fine.
Yeah, we're into it.
You love Guilty as Sin. I don't have much to say on it.
I liked it. I just wanted to quickly look through these Florida lyrics. Oh, I did see a thing with somebody was speculating like, oh, Florida is Matty Healy. Like, that's her drug.
I don't know. Like, get over it. Like, not everything's so literal.
It doesn't have to be. Drowning in the Blue Nile. He sent me. It's so funny. I'm literally reading these lyrics. I cannot remember how the song
goes. Is this Guilty as Sin?
Yeah. Oh, what if he's written mine on my upper thigh, only in my mind? Oh, one slip and I'm falling back into the hedge maze. One thing I loved is that she used this phrase, the hedge maze, which is also used in this Phoebe Bridgers song that I love, and Garden Song. Phoebe. She loves Phoebe. There is some gaylers on the internet saying that Tortured Poets was written about Phoebe. Oh gosh. And which I don't think is true, but
the gaylers,
the truthers, the people who are trying to say that she's in love with Carly and all that.
Yeah.
You get it.
No, I know who they are.
Yeah. I'm in text. I text.
I text.
Okay. We'll have to.
I just like don't. It's. I there's some lines where I'm like cool, but
cool. I like the beat. Nice gowns.
That's something my mom would say. The beat is so good.
Okay, tell me what you thought about Who's Afraid of Little Old Me.
I texted you immediately because that one I played while I was coaching. I was like, maybe this will be like a look what you made me do. And I played it and I was like, okay, this is like, that was one I listened to. And I texted you as I'm coaching and I'm like, okay, I like this one.
Right?
I like how she screams in it.
That's the first time I heard that scream.
Yeah. I think like her pitches are cool. She changed it up. It's not like her typical sound of her like raspy, like kind of sad voice. It's like, I don't know. I like it.
Now that you brought up that point, I've got to pivot back to all my disappointment with so much of the internet. Talking about how like the sounds boring. She needs to break up with Jack Antonoff.
Yeah.
It's all this thing. And I'm just like, when did we decide that you have to do something brand new every single time you do something?
Right.
Like, we're not doing this to anybody, right?
Yeah.
Like, we're about to get a new, I don't even want to bring other people into it. We're about to get a new Dua Lipa album in 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. And I'm certain that I know what it's going to sound like.
Yeah, for sure.
But we're going to love it.
Yeah, we're going to love it.
And we're going to have a great time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, I don't think we have
Everyone
to
puts
like,
all this like extra pressure on Taylor to like, I don't know, rewrite.
But it reinforces the fact that you said that she did something new reinforces my feeling about
my fear.
My fears. Those OG fans listening to this, because I think she does a lot of new stuff too.
Even the scream, I don't know, I can't remember what song it is, but when she like ends a lyric with screaming and she's actually screaming.
Yes.
What song is that? Screaming. Whoa, that was bad. That was worse than the first one.
I know. I feel like I'm still sleep deprived from Thursday night.
Yeah, so honestly, it's like, it's in one of the songs where she like actually says the word screaming, and in the song she's screaming, but then in the very last lyric, the word is screaming, and she whispers it because she's just
it dies screaming. Dies screaming. The Black Dog.
And it's the very last one. She's screaming it every time, and in the very last one, she like has no breath left. It could be the Black Dog. It could be Black Dog.
Okay, so Who's Afraid of Little Old Me?
Loved it.
That scream, loved. And I loved the first time I heard her say, it was Black Dog screaming. I loved the line about, which I take to kind of come at the younger pop people coming up behind her.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Is that how we're interpreting this?
About which line?
You wouldn't last an hour in the asylum where they raised me, so all you kids can sneak into my house with all the cobwebs. I'm always drunk on my own tears. Isn't that what they all said? That I'll sue you if you step on my lawn. Like this, like
that I'm fearsome and I'm wretched and I'm wrong.
I can't help but think about that assumed feud between her and Olivia.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Right.
Which is like gotta be real, right?
Which gotta be real.
Yeah.
I mean, they were so tight, and then it's like nothing.
Like nothing.
Yeah.
Olivia says they're fine, but they're not fine.
And so then it's like, oh, you know what they all say? I'm going to sue you. You know what? Maybe I will.
Yeah.
It's like she's owning it. It's like her next like look what you made me do moment.
It's also just like I'm allowed to make my own choices and you're allowed to not agree with them.
And
it's the same as Daddy, I love him.
And then the dig of because I put narcotics into all of my songs and that's why you're still singing along.
Yeah, like
there's like, okay,
you're still obsessed with my music.
Hate me. You're still talking about me.
I'm a billionaire. You're coming to my show.
Bring it.
Yeah.
Love it.
It's working.
Kill it.
Love of My Life is that next. I really want to talk about it.
I Can Fix Him, but no, really I can is the next one. But, so I think it sounded weird to me at first. And then as soon as I thought, if I heard Lana's voice on this song, I wouldn't think twice about it. And ever since then, I've been like, oh, I'm into it.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I don't need to pigeonhole Taylor.
Yeah.
Into one thing. All right. LOML, baby.
Okay. There's like so many TikToks going around of like people's first reaction when they hear Loss of My Life.
Incredible. See, I think it's funny that you keep calling it Love of My Life.
I know.
Instead of just
because I'm
the
so
letters.
used to LOML, but it is Loss of My Life.
Because I don't know which one she means, but it's like I think it's fun that it's both of them.
Yeah. And I also heard that like apparently there was like some photo posted by Maddie Healy, but I really truly think this is about Joe, but whatever, it doesn't matter.
Yep.
The lyrics are still good, but there was some picture that Maddie Healy posted on Instagram like years ago and captioned it with LOML, but it was for not for her. It was like for some whatever.
Yeah.
Random thing, but it was meant for Love of My Life, and she was like using that as like a.
I mean, we've only ever heard it as Love of My Life, right? As far as I know, and
so Loss of My Life was like, oh damn,
you're like,
no. Okay, this one I just love so much. Okay, let me get to it. Wait, do you think this is about Joe? Now I'm like. No,
I felt a glow like this never. Oh, so the one thing that one reason I don't think it is about Joe, if we're going to say that it's about one or the other, is the first line where it says, "Who's going to stop us from waltzing back into rekindled flames?" Because it's like,
it could be about Maddie.
Their flames had to have been there and then died out, and then we brought them back. And who's going to stop us from doing that?
Yeah. It could be about Matt. It could be about both of them. There could be lines like we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
Because like I think you, Holy Ghost, you told me I'm the love of your life. You said I'm the love of your life about 1,000,000 times. Like I just feel like that has to be Joe.
Her voice when she says about 1,000,000 times.
Oh my gosh. And she gets like breathy.
Yes.
It's like, oh. Okay.
Your impressionist paintings of heaven turned out to be fakes. Well, you took me to hell too. A con man sells a full get love quick scheme. See, I think that comes back to that theory of like Maddie just stepping in and being like, here we are. Like it's time.
You're right. It could be Maddie. Okay, the bridge. That's what I really love.
Yeah.
You should talk to me under the table, talking rings and talking cradles, which could be a flashback to the middle finger ring to the. It could be Maddie. Now I'm sad because I really wanted it to be about Joe. And
the manuscript, though, because remember in the manuscript, he said that if the sex was half as good as the conversation, we'd be pushing strollers.
Yeah, we'd be pushing strollers. That's about Jake.
Yeah.
Or John.
Everybody's just trying to lure her in with babies.
Yeah. She wants a baby, y'all.
This is
Give this girl a baby.
Messed up.
Dancing Phantoms on the Terrace. Oh, I wish I could unrecall how we almost had it all. That's the cemetery. This is the cemetery one. Still alive, killing time at the cemetery. That's why I think it's Joe.
I know.
It could be both. It was legendary, it was momentary, it was unnecessary, should have let it stay buried. Oh, maybe that's about Maddie. Crap, I'm going back and forth.
I know.
What a bland goodbye. That could be Maddie.
And how simple it is to say that something counterfeits dead. Like this whole thing was a farce.
Yeah.
Should have let it stay buried.
I'm realizing something. I think this is about Maddie.
She's having a real time.
I just can't believe that Maddie's the loss of her life.
Yeah. But if it's spanning that long, if it's true, and she's finally
the idea of him is maybe the loss of her life.
It makes me feel like if all that we see that she has chosen to let us see, might I add, because she's only seen when she wants to be seen.
Yeah.
All of the stuff that we've seen about her publicly with Maddie, if it's true, then it would make sense.
Yeah, I know. And that's why I'm like growing on the fact that I don't mind that this album's about Maddie. At first I was very like, but But now I get it.
Finally ready to be like, okay, I've given it a real shot. We've had nothing holding us back at this point.
What a blow to Joe, though, to be like, and then the loss of my life was Maddie, not you, after 6 years.
I know. It makes you think like, were you sent by someone who wanted me dead?
Oh my gosh. It's 5:10. We have so much to do.
Okay. I can do with the broken heart we love.
Just a bop.
Yeah.
Just an absolute bop about her on tour. She's like, I can fake it till I make it. I'm trying to come for my job. I'm the best.
Yeah. Smallest Man Who Ever Lived is incredibly cutting. I love it so much.
And the bridge of that is really just the only thing I need to talk about when it starts to get like,
were you sent by someone? Yeah.
And how the sound changes. Like, that's Jack. She can't do it without Jack.
You know what I love?
That's Jack's idea.
This comes back to Maddie for me, because it wasn't sexy, was it? Once it wasn't forbidden.
Yeah.
And then you know what that makes me think? I'm gonna get real controversial.
I would have died for your sin. Okay, what does it make you think? We're getting closer and closer.
It wasn't sexy once it wasn't forbidden. If we go back for all the years that they've been will they won't they, have they just been like, even if just romantically, even just kind of platonically cheating on these other people that they've been dating with each other? And that was kind of the appeal for this thing to be
or like, it's been kind of released now that her and Joe were very on and off. Like, what if Maddie was like someone she went to in the in-between?
Yeah. And I'm just thinking, like, you know, now that she's done with Joe, she has nobody else in her life, and now we can be together, and now it's like, oh, this isn't as fun anymore.
Yeah.
That's messed up. Anyway,
that's why she says,
I loved the "you deserve prison, but you won't get time. You'll slide into inboxes." Like, because
he went straight for the next internet girl. He actually started. He is dating a girl who's like the
internet starlet.
The internet starlet, who's like I don't know, like an influencer or something. Gabrielle.
Oh my gosh, I've got to do more research.
Basically saying like you know, it was pretty easy for you to move on.
The Alchemy is next, and I love seeing the tweets coming in of like, wait a minute, is the Alchemy about? Everyone's just like, yeah, it is.
It's about Travis, and I love that she included songs on here for Travis, because I think it would. Although Travis, I don't think he gets half of her songs. Like,
oh, poor boy.
But he's so sweet. He's just
I love him,
teddy bear. But I think it was probably like refreshing for him to be like, I'm the fresh start. I'm what you've been waiting for.
Exactly. And she says, what if I told you were cool? That child's play back in school is forgiven under my rule. So again, she's like ruling this kingdom again. She's like in this new place.
I'm making a comeback to where I belong, which is kind of like a callback to like in the beginning of her career, like when she was just a teenage kid, which goes to high school as well. As like she always sang about like the quarterback or the guy on the football team, and like her not being good enough. And so like this is really kind of her moment to like be like, you hoes thought that I wasn't good enough. Look who I'm with.
And the rest of the world, we've been thinking this since they've gotten together. It's like, oh my, this feels like we are in high school. We're watching the popular kids date. We're watching the girl in school and like the big star football team guy.
Yes. And like even her saying, and I don't, is it this one where she said, or no, that's maybe high school. You know how to ball. I know Aristotle. Like she's calling out the fact that like we're different, and that's what I like about it.
Yes.
Like he is a baller and I am smarter.
I love it. I love it.
And it's refreshing. Like I've been with all these tortured poets. Like let me have some fun.
The montage of the bridge with all the clips from him winning the Super Bowl and like running to her, so cute.
And she's very literal in this. She's like, your shirt's off, your friends are lifting over their heads, there's beer everywhere. Everyone's chanting. They said he couldn't be the greatest in the league, but he literally is the greatest tight end in the league.
Oh my God. I was just listening to this on the way over, and
Those blokes warm the benches is about like the British guy she dated before.
Yeah. I couldn't hear the word she was saying.
Yeah.
Blokes.
Is British.
Incredible. Girl.
And Maddie Healy and Joe are both British. And she's like with this all-American, like just frat guy.
Taylor, you can have anything you want. I think she's incredible.
Clairvaux, I don't care.
Yeah, I get what she's doing. It's like
I get what she's doing. There's been a lot of hate around this with like the racist line. Is that
no, that's I hate it here.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's not why I hate it here. I just think it's kind of slow.
It's just like not really doing much for me.
Yeah.
Okay, and now we're into the anthology.
Okay, let's
where do you want to go with this one?
Okay, Black Dog is about Joe because it's a bar. Sorry, I have to like pull my pants down because I'm pregnant.
Okay.
Everything rides up. Sorry, YouTubers.
Man.
Okay, so the Black Dog is about Joe because it's been like confirmed that it was a bar that they actually like went to and one that he goes to. Like it's a real place.
I love how even as a billionaire, she still feels relatable.
Yeah.
Talking about like
we went to the bar, we listened to Starting Line. It was like we do that.
The Starting Line.
Yeah. Also great callback. And did you see the Starting Line
no
thanked her? They're like,
That's
thank
incredible.
you so much for like mentioning us. Like this means the world that you like our music.
You know, this is okay. It's okay. She's pregnant. For those of you who are not watching the video, Kathryn just tried to drink this. Look at this. And it spilled all over her pregnant belly. What a blessing.
What a blessing.
Incredible.
It's like I peed my pants. Okay.
I was gonna say, was this like a ploy to cover? Like, do you need to go pee?
No, I don't need to pee.
All right, cool.
I'll let you know.
Yeah, great.
I'm not embarrassed.
No, of course
I'm
not.
fine. It's on the floor.
Relatable. The sharing locations, and you didn't turn it off.
Yes.
And yeah, of course I'm gonna look at where you're going.
Yeah, obviously.
Why would I not?
Yeah, I look at people I don't care about where they are.
Of course.
Follow them on.
I'm a little Sims.
Yeah.
Where y'all moving to?
Where are you going?
I'm gonna get you back. I think is good.
I think it's fun.
Mm-hmm.
It's like just about flirting with the idea of I can do whatever I want with you. Like this is just a fling.
Yeah, it's not my favorite, but I don't have really any issue with it.
Yeah,
I think like sonically it sounds yeah, I don't really know what my thoughts are there.
I know Taylor was getting here before me, and because I was dropping Wills off at babysitter, and I was like, here's the door code, you can come in if I'm not there. And he was like, I'm gonna steal your snacks, sung to the sound of I'm gonna get you back.
I'm gonna steal your snacks. You're really bopping to it.
Yeah,
I would steal your snacks too.
Albatross I don't.
It's okay. It's her.
Fine.
It's like her more serious, to me, it's like her more serious like anti-hero moment.
Yeah,
where she feels like she's the problem. She's holding people back. She's the thing that
she's the bad bird.
Yeah. Okay. Chloe
that
or
one's
Sam
growing on me.
Or Sophia or Marcus. So I understand how people could dismiss it.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, the more I listen to it, I don't understand how you could dismiss it because I think it's
really boppy too.
Incredibly,
it's got a good beat.
I think it's like
it's got a great beat.
It's got a good beat. I think it's so haunting to me, the sound of it.
Mm-hmm.
And like this is like this to me is like Taylor and Aaron Dessner at one of their best.
Yeah. So this is Aaron pretty much was on all the songs.
Yeah. So I think when I was looking through it, like Jack did most of the original 16 or 15, and then Aaron was mostly on these last.
In the room.
As the decade would play us for fools, and you saw my bones out with somebody new who seemed like he would have bullied you in high school, and you just watched it happen.
I mean, do we think that's Travis to Maddie? Yeah.
Yeah, I really do. And
get away.
I don't
Not
like. Yeah.
My dog's in here.
I didn't really like that she was saying my bones.
You saw my bones out?
Yeah, because that makes it sound like she's lifeless to me.
Yeah.
You know? And it's like, now I'm not really myself. But maybe at the beginning of things, she was just kind of like just trying to get over him.
Yeah.
And,
or it could be about
like the 1989 era.
It could be about Maddie bullying Joe.
True. Oh, true.
I don't know.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah. But
like
I love the writing there.
Yeah.
I think it's really beautiful.
Yeah.
If you want to break my cold heart, just say I loved you the way that you. Oh, how? Like, just turn that knife, dude.
The idea I had of you in the beginning is what I loved, not who you actually are. Oh my gosh.
You turned me into an idea of sorts. You needed me, but you needed drugs more. Okay, we're back to
That's
Maddie.
not drugs.
And this idea of like, you turned me into an idea. That's the thing that's the only reason that people are on again, off again.
Yeah.
Is because you've built up this idea.
You build up a fantasy in your head of like what it could be.
You cannot convince me otherwise. That's the only thing that keeps people like doing this thing.
I love how the camera just zooms in on Bear because he's the big fluff.
Moment.
He says, "I just missed you guys."
I hope you can hear his breath in the
he's
microphone.
Sniffing. He's got a torpedo nose.
Okay. How did it end? What did you think?
I love this song.
We hereby conduct this post-mortem.
It's just like so, I guess, relatable, and in that, like, even me, I'm the Hannahs and the Sarahs. Like, I want to know, like, the drama, and there's just so much to know, and it's so much deeper than just like we broke up. That everyone, I'm sure this is about Joe. Like, everyone's wanting to know, how did it end? You know, like, and she's like, there's so much to it. Like. Yeah.
And she says,
Bear, sit.
Bear. Will you
Bear,
sit down?
go away. Sit.
Come one, come all, it's happening again. The empathetic hunger descends. So it's like we're hungry, like we feel bad for her, but we've got to know.
We've got to know. It's like, do you really care?
We'll tell no one. Like, I just need to know.
Yeah.
But I'm going to tell all my friends.
Yeah.
Because we have all got to know. And then the second verse.
Keep talking.
She says, we fell victim. Oh, we were blind to unforeseen circumstances. We learned the right steps to different dances and fell victim to interlopers' glances. Lost the game of chance. What are the chances? Soon they'll go home to their husbands, smug because they know they can trust him. They can
trust him. Like, yeah.
Then feverishly calling their cousins, saying, "Guess who I ran into at the shop?" Yeah, it's just gossiping, right? This part is like really interesting to me. The fell victim to interlopers' glances. It's like it's kind of that same thing of like when it was secret, everything was good. She does this a lot in her songs. Now I'm blanking on what songs, and somebody's listening to this screaming it at me.
Yeah.
But where it's like, as I don't want people to find, oh, I know places. It's like, we can keep this secret.
Yeah.
Because there are going to be people out there, and as soon as they know, it's all over.
It's over. Yeah. And I love the DYING. In fact, like, I got a little teary-eyed during that. Like, it made me, I don't know why, like, just how it's good. It's such a callback, because it's usually KISSING. Like, that's what people are like gossiping about in that old child song, is like kissing in a tree.
My beloved ghost and me sitting in a tree. I've got full chills.
Yeah, DYING. Like, we're dead. I think this is about Joe, and I think that's why it's like really sad, because we did, like, the media and us, like, we're just like, okay, why did it end? How did it end? Like,
we've got to know.
It's been 6 years. He was the one, you know? And we immediately we drew all these conclusions. He cheated. She did, yada, yada, yada. She's with Maddie now. And she's like, you guys don't know, and you never will.
No. And I don't owe it to you.
You don't need to know. You're vultures.
Truly.
Yeah.
And we are. And especially at this time in her career, where there are more eyes on her than there have ever been.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't owe you anything. This can still be my life.
Yeah.
Love it.
So high school. We already talked about, just like, it makes you feel like an old rom-com. Thank you, Tay Tay.
It's great.
It's about Travis. It's so just like fun and free, and that feeling you get when you are in high school and you have a crush on the guy and he actually likes you back, and you can't believe it.
Yeah. So I think sonically it sounds so good. It's just like, it's all those feelings. It makes you feel those feelings.
Yes.
I love the line where she's like, I want to see you in a crowd just to avoid you.
Yes, which is so high school.
So high school.
You would like want to, you knew where they were in the halls.
Like,
you would pass by them on purpose, but then you would like not show yourself.
Absolutely,
like, you would want them to see you, but then walk away.
Could you imagine going up and talking to that person that you had a crush on at a party? No. You want your friends to be like, oh, y'all should play 7 Minutes in Heaven.
Yes. And the Kiss, Marry, Kill too. Like, with the callback to his interview.
Yes.
Like, it's just a game, but really, like, who do you want to kiss, marry?
I mean,
it's so good.
Thinking about her voice singing that part, I've got to listen to it right now.
It's just so fun.
Yeah, it's incredible.
And you know how to ball. I know Aristotle. I love that line. Like, she's just like, we're so different. I can't believe you like me.
Okay. When I was first listening to it.
Boy, you knew what you want, and boy, you got it.
Yeah.
I was like, he did. He went after it.
He got it. I love it. When I was first listening to the song, I heard, I know, Aristotle, like she was calling him Aristotle.
Oh. No.
And I was like,
no. That ain't Travis.
Aristotle bald. Okay, Peter's next. which I first didn't care about at all. And the more I listen to it, I think it's very, very beautiful. It's
a lot of people are saying it's a callback to Cardigan.
Yep.
Which
Peter Luther
Cardigan
Whitney.
is like unknowingly but knowingly by Swifties for Maddie Healy.
Yep.
It's when she got on the stage when they were together and she was like, I love you,
I love
you know who you are, when she
yep.
sang Cardigan.
Yeah. I think so. Knowing that, I really it really kills me to see these lines. I've heard great things, Peter, but life was always easier on you than it was on me.
Yeah. Meaning he can get away with things.
Exactly.
So because for him, he can like date her for fleetingly, still throw wine bottles off of stages and be drunk on stage, break up, and like not get any heat because that's just what people expect of him.
Yep, exactly. And so
but
I thought
for her, she's a grown up.
That was the best part of the song for me, or the best line. I hoped you'd return. Yeah. Oh, you said you'd come and get me, but you were 25.
Yeah, which is like
of those
very
fantasies
clear
has expired
because that's when they met, when they were 25.
Gosh,
that was 1989 era because I was 25.
Okay. The Bolter. This is the vinyl that I got. It's beautiful, stunning.
Oh, that is pretty.
Anything that you want to say here?
I don't have much to say. It's just about a girl who's like always ran her entire life.
Yeah.
Self-sabotage. Do you have anything you want to say?
Runaway Bride vibes. I don't know. I don't think I've given this one enough time to like really think about to speak in a way that I feel comfortable, I guess. The manuscript.
Okay, we made it.
The
manuscript, I love how simple it is. I love the sound of just the piano, and it's very sad sounding, but I think it's also very, like, the message of it is very freeing. Of, we built up, well, in the beginning when All Too Well was written.
Yeah.
It was this just like, in her eyes, this epic love story that was fatally ended too soon. And we kept the legacy of All Too Well going, the fans.
Oh,
I mean,
I thought you meant you and me specifically.
You and I
screaming it in the car.
That too.
Because we definitely did.
Oh my gosh, yes, I still do. I just love that song. The fans, and she's even said like, this was one of my favorite songs I ever written, and I knew it would never be a single, but you guys made it the best song ever because you loved it just as much as I did.
Yeah.
And so she does a lot of callbacks in this to the video, the music video she made, of like the tears coming on cue. The what does she say?
The actors hit their marks. The actors were hitting their marks, and the slow dance was alight with the sparks, and the tears fell in synchronicity with the score.
Yes.
And at last, she knew what the agony had been for.
Yes, like this is what this song was, not just about me and Jake, essentially. It's about all of us, like the fans. Like we all cared for this era and this song so much that 10 years later, more than 10 years later, it's still my most iconic song.
I know that she's not putting it in this context, but I think that with the Christian community, this could come back to like, why do we suffer? Right? Because it's like, I'm not saying that she wants to break her own heart because of millions of people will, but it truly is. It's like, in that moment when she's watching these things happen that have come out of this incredible heartbreak that she's experienced,
she sees the purpose.
Says, I know what the agony had been for.
Yeah.
And then she ends it with, because the story isn't mine anymore.
No, it's yours.
I'm able to pass it on to you so you can use this song to process these feelings.
Yes. Like, I'm over this, but I'm so glad I went through it and I wrote it and I continue to expand upon it because we all needed this.
Yeah.
And the manuscript of, like, even in her video, like her being an author writing about this epic love affair in her life years later. That's kind of what she did with the 10-minute version, like giving us that. And then this is kind of like just at the end to it all.
Yep. I really love this first verse. If you guys go back and listen to it and read these lyrics, it's like she's doing that thing that she does so well, where she's taking this microscopic moment and dissecting like the nuances there. It's like they're truly, like, I'm picturing them in bed, like, oh, let me see your ID. Like, let me see your license. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, you're not an organ donor? No, but I'll give you my heart if you need it. And then she's like, oh, you're a professional. You know, it's just like this quick little exchange of like this man, I don't know, building up these false hopes again.
Yeah.
And then it crushes and she feels terrible.
and said, "You're a professional," is so good. I mean, it really, and she even calls on, like, if I had been 30.
Yeah.
You said if I had been 30 with my wisdom at the time, like, I could have been in. So I go back to all these boys with, like, dartboards on their doors, and I know I'm, like, too good for them. Like, I don't know. Like, they're just not.
If there are any Tortured Poets departments haters out there, like, I truly don't know what you're missing.
Like, listen to this episode, because we're nailing it.
Incredible.
And then you'll understand why there's so much respect for this artist. She's an artist.
I truly don't get it. I feel like those negative reviews come from, like I've said before, that craze, everybody getting on this Taylor bandwagon.
It's the expectation versus reality in the beginning.
Yeah. And
like,
I think
I want another 1989. I want another Midnights. I want another Bejeweled.
I think that people who have been around, like, hear this and we're like, this is some of her best stuff.
Yeah. And we still, I think what's great about being a fan since the beginning is, like, I still love Speak Now Taylor and like,
of course,
1989, and like, even like Shake It Off Taylor, where you're just like, yeah, that's boppy. It's fun. She's a pop star. She's like girl. She's glittery and sparkly, but she is a tortured poet, and she's allowed to evolve. And I think it's fun to evolve with her.
I agree.
And because, like, I'm not the same as I was when I was 18 and Fearless came out. Like,
and it's also interesting. You made this comment earlier about, like, being in these similar moments of life with her. And I feel the same way now with this album.
Yeah.
Like, we are both 34, right? Yeah. And it's like, I can look at
35. But yeah.
Oh, right.
Too soon, but it's fine.
Too soon. But it's like, I can look back on these experiences and really it's like you're going through therapy.
Yeah, you
it's
understand
like
the evolution.
It's like, rather than being in the moment of the heartbreak, it's like, oh, now I'm a grown up and I'm, like, talking with my therapist about these things that I've been through, and the way I'm looking back on that, I'm like, how did that impact me, and what did I think about it, and what are the feelings that were going through my mind?
Yeah.
It's like, it's very grown up, it's very mature.
Or even just being able to sit here with you,
period,
and, like, talk about, like, you hurt me 10 years ago, or
I did.
I don't even know when at this point, but a while back, and, like, but now perspective, I'm like, that's how it was always supposed to be.
Now I know what all the agony had been for.
I know what all those 2
Look at
years
this beautiful home
for. And, like, I know why we're friends. And like, it's just like,
it makes sense.
It's such child's play when you look back on it, but when you're in it, it is like life or death, or it does feel like the end of the world. But that perspective that she's gaining, and I think that's why even her, like, not bashing Joe, like, she's gained this perspective of, like, no, I, like, respect this man, like Maddie Healy, whatever.
Yeah.
But, like, I don't know. I'm allowed to evolve too.
Agreed. And I think that we all should. My only, well, are there any more big thoughts that you have? Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm good. I mean, I'm sure I'm so deep. There's probably something in there. Dribbles.
We started off by
liquid
saying,
down my chest. I'm so deep.
We started off by saying that we are not, like, conspiracy theorists.
Yeah.
But if I had to.
Yeah. I mean, if I had dabbled.
I'm taking this moment in her career. She's saying, like, this is my submission. It's like this whole dissertation, right? This Tortured Poets department. It's like, I've studied heartbreak. I've written this dissertation, and now I'm presenting this to the board to get my doctorate degree.
Yeah.
Right. And as soon as this is done, I'm on to something new.
Yeah.
And, like, I'm putting this to rest. We're moving forward. And I would not be surprised if the next new album that we get from her
is very lovery, or
just something very different from this.
Yeah.
I think I would, if I had to assume, I would think that would be the next move. That's going to be, like, I don't know if it's going to be a full rebranding, like a full reimagination or whatever word I'm looking for just completely left me, but I think it could be a hard pivot to something new,
because she can
she can
do whatever she wants. It's her music. It's her song.
And if she doesn't, if she gives me the Tortured Poets Part 2, I'm going to be right back here on this chair talking about it. And we're going to be like, you know what? I love it.
Yeah.
This is exactly what I wanted.
Yeah. She meets us where we're at. Thank you, Tay Tay.
Oh my gosh.
And thank you, Taylor, for joining me again.
No, thank you. Truly, this is like so fun for me. I think it really is like one of those, like,
it's therapy,
heart therapy moments.
Yeah.
It really is. It's, like, incredible. And, like, inviting all 60 people to listen.
I swear I have more listeners, but you guys need to subscribe on YouTube. Like that's where the fun is.
Like we met 10 times the amount of people just going to weddings in that
100%.
time that we
dated. Yeah. We have more fans than this. So can y'all please subscribe?
Yeah, we'll retweet.
Yeah. I don't think I've tweeted since we were together.
Oh, all right.
Anyways, thank you again. I'm sure whenever Reputation TV comes out, we'll come back together. If not, breath. if she doesn't release another album before then, like another brand new one.
And if Taylor, you're listening to this,
which you are, right?
We'll listen. We'll do whatever you want.
Yeah, whatever you want. Mm-hmm. Like we're with you.
Mm-hmm. Support you. Love.
And listeners, we're with you. Love you. I'll talk to you next week. Melody will be back on next week to talk all things reality TV. We have a lot to catch up on. Pop culture.
Heck yeah.
Melody's coming back.
Are y'all talking about Survivor?
She doesn't watch Survivor, but we're watching it if you want to talk about it. Are you watching this season?
Yeah.
Okay, we can talk about it after we log off. All right. Love you guys, and I'll talk to you next week. Bye.
Bye.